into the red area, some situational football stuff. As far as practice is concerned, guys that are really out, very limited right now is Hunter Bryant, CJ Moore, Kenny Galladay, and Vaitai. So other than that, everyone's going to be out there trying to work through. We'll see what some of those guys can do, but we'll just kind of take it from there. Important day for us to get a lot of work in. And certainly, it is game time. It is the regular season, and Friday is a critical day for us to make sure we're getting everything accomplished here before we get to the weekend. So we're excited to get out there and kind of keep stringing some good practices together and get ready to go play the Bears. So let's just open it up to questions and go from there.
Mike O'Hara.
Yeah, Coach, just to clarify one thing, when you said Kenny Galladay out, you mean out for practice, not out for Sunday?
Correct. Yeah, he'll be out in practice. He'll be dressed, and we're going to see what he can do, but probably pretty limited.
Okay, I want to make sure I didn't misunderstand that.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I think you said this a couple of times the last couple of years that the first 3 or 4 games are really about ugly or whatever. And I wonder if tackling might be one of the bigger issues that coaches and teams face. You miss a tackle and you can go 60, something like that. Is that something you really worry about in the first couple of games?
100%. I mean, it's something we really put a big stress and the emphasis on fundamentals. And, we call them the lost arts sometimes. I think, a lot of times we don't spend enough time on some of those fundamentals. And I would put tackling at the top of that list. There's guys that have proven to be really good tacklers through the years and guys that haven't tackled so well. But certainly early in the season, we see that kind of adjustment to game speed, adjustment to the angles, adjustment to being able to drive and finish through on a tackle. A lot of times in practice, we might be in a tag-off situation or guys might be just kind of, getting into that fit position and maybe thudding up, but not necessarily driving through, wrapping the arms and trying to finish the tackle. So it is definitely something that I think we will see for the first month of football here, all different levels of really good and really maybe some not so good.
Justin?
Good morning, Matt. I know early in the offseason we kind of asked you about were there any injury issues you're tracking across the league. You mentioned a lot more joint issues. I think you got 5 guys right now on the report with hamstrings. I wondered if you thought that that's coincidence or if this is circumstances related to maybe a shortened off season. Some of those guys just aren't stretched out the way they normally would be.
Yeah, great question. And actually, we did a great study of this and kind of what a normal season looks like. And we see in the springtime as we get into OTAs and kind of that phase 2, that's where we really see the joint sort of stiffness and soreness. So a lot of the knees, the ankles, the hips, a lot of those type of injuries come up for us in the spring. And then as we progress toward training camp, that's when we start to see a little bit more of the soft tissue where we're really kind of amped up the speed and the length of maybe the plays and how far downfield and things like that, and the groin issues that maybe come with some of the defensive players with change of direction. And so that's like a normal year of kind of where the bodies are adapting to getting into football shape. What we've seen right now is kind of a condensed version of a spring and summer all in kind of, call it 4 weeks, where we've initially got on the field and we saw a lot of the joints and some of those things that were bothering guys. And now we're kind of, working into that training camp mode, even though I know the regular season's starting, but timeline of guys getting ready to go and prepare, where now it's a little bit more of the soft tissue stuff. And then certainly the other one that we tracked, as we talked about maybe a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember, but just with 2011, some of the impact injuries that we saw, maybe that were non-contact and that were more tendon related. So whether it was the bigger tendons in the muscles, the quad tendons, the Achilles tendons, things like that. And we saw those kind of explosive movement tendons that were more of the injury prone type of injuries. So we're seeing kind of a condensed version right now. I would say the one thing that we're trying to do and really why you'll see it on the injury report a lot is we're trying to prevent them from being what I would call long-term type soft tissue injuries. So even if we get guys that are tight, that maybe have something on the milder side that maybe, 7, 10, 14-day type stuff, we're trying to prevent the 4-week type of injury there.
And then really quickly, I know Mike asked you about the sloppiness of early season football, particularly this year. I just wondered if you took in any of last night's game, looking for, I guess, the way that those first 2 teams kind of reacted to the lack of a preseason.
I did. I had it on in the background a little bit and just was trying to peek at it. I certainly think, I didn't really analyze it enough to be able to tell you. But I do know, I think Mike hit it right on the head. I definitely saw some tackling that looked interesting, out there from that standpoint, and just the speed of the game. I didn't get a good enough look on the coaches' tape yet of the special teams. That's the one I'm really interested to see what that looked like from that standpoint.
Kyle.
I wanted to ask you about the protests we saw last night. The anthem stuff, and we saw from you guys in previous years. I'm just curious what you anticipate that looking like for you guys on Sunday. Adrian Peterson said yesterday that he expects to kneel. I'm just curious what those conversations have been like for you and your team.
Yeah. We've had really good conversations all the way from when we got back and really even through this week as far as what week one looks like in general. I think there'll be a lot of changes to just the overall look of what that is. And we've had some great discussions. Like I've said before, we have great guys in here. They do a great job of listening to each other and understanding. So we'll just, we'll keep that in-house for now. And then we'll get to the game and get ready for Chicago.
Dave?
Morning, Matt. Two things just on the Galladay and Vaitai injuries. Are those more on the milder side? Like you said, are you just trying to prevent the 4-week type injury, I guess? Is there a chance they can still play in the game?
Yeah, for all that stuff, we're taking all those day by day, from that standpoint. It is that type of situation, that type of injury right now. So that's what we'll do. Okay.
And then the other thing I just wanted to ask you was, it's been a crazy 6 months here, good and bad things, I guess, for you guys, internally over there, but to deal with that is, but just how realistic are the playoffs as a goal, just given everything that's gone on in the world here in the last 6 months?
Yeah, I'd say probably, just a real difficult question to even try to even conceptually think about. We haven't even stepped on the field yet. So we'll just try to do the best we can this weekend and go from there. And the season for the NFL is long. It's ever changing. There's different phases to it. We certainly know that. We like to break them up into quarters, 4 games at a time, and kind of look and see the improvement and evaluate and go. And right now we're just starting the first quarter. So we'll see how this one goes.
Well, if I can just rephrase then, has anything that's happened, does that change expectations at all? You still enter the season feeling the same or approaching it the same way as you normally do, despite what's gone on the last 6 months?
Yeah, I think, you guys know me as a person. I think I just approach every single day the same, trying to win every day. So we're going to try to win each day.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Johnny, last question.
Hey, good start to the season doesn't guarantee anything, obviously, but I'm wondering if back-to-back divisional games to start the season sort of ratchets up the urgency in any way. I realize it's a week-to-week thing, but that's not the norm, certainly.
Yeah, no, and I would say that's a great point. Obviously, it doesn't change anything. We have the same goal every single week we play. But I do think we understand that, the division back-to-back out the gate is really important for us. And I would say really what it does is just make sure that your focus in the preparation for those things are laser locked in. Can't have any miscues. We got to stay the course. We got to stay on track. The games, we're always going to do everything we can to win the games, and the preparation is what's so important. We understand that with 2 division games back to back, how important that preparation is in our improvement.
How much better do you have for this division now? It's year 2 or 3 for most of your staff, and not a ton of turnover in the division. Same head coaches, same quarterbacks, I think, for the most part. Does that help the prep in any way, especially early in the year?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually was just thinking of this, probably just 2 days ago. It does feel a little bit more natural, now, kind of just like this is the division that, we played for a couple of years and the moving parts haven't been as great. It's certainly for me, just, me individually, a lot more comfortable than what it was maybe my first year and even into last year and some of the adjustments there. So I would say absolutely, as you progress through a couple of years of being in a certain spot, in a certain division, you start to get familiarity with the players and the coaches. Not that you didn't know who they were, but maybe the intricacies of that or the details of that, maybe are a little bit more natural.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, great. Everybody have a good day.
All right, Coach. Thanks.
Yep.